So let's talk about Nike. Honestly, pretty much everyone was bracing for a stumble. All the signs were pointing to a decline, but what we got instead was a sprint to the finish line that caught Wall Street completely off guard. So how in the world did Nike pull off this incredible comeback quarter? Let's break it all down.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. The expectation, what everyone was thinking, was a clear drop in revenue, something in the mid-single digits. But the reality? Whoa, a complete 180. They didn't just fall less than expected, they actually grew. It's the kind of surprise that makes everyone sit up and go, wait, what just happened?
So where did this win come from? Well, the answer starts right here at home. This victory wasn't some random global fluke. It was powered by a really incredible performance in one key region that basically changed the entire story for the company.
Check this out. A 4% increase in North American sales. In a market where everyone was braced for a decline. This single number, this is the engine that powered the whole surprise victory. It's proof that their strategy is starting to work right where it matters most.
Okay, so that leads to the obvious question, right? A turnaround like this doesn't just happen by accident. There's got to be a strategy, a new plan, a whole new playbook. So what exactly are they doing differently?
All right, let's dive in. Let's open up that comeback playbook and see what's actually going on behind the scenes.
And right at the heart of it all is a really simple but powerful philosophy from their new leadership. The focus is back on the product, period. It's a return to the fundamentals, a belief that awesome products are what's going to drive the business, not just chasing the latest trend. And this whole idea really rests on three main pillars. First up, a return to sport. Nike is recentering its whole identity on athletic performance. If sport bleeds into fashion, that's great, but the core focus is sport. Second, driving real product innovation. And third, and this one isn't glamorous, but it is so important, aggressively clearing out old inventory to make room for all the new stuff.
And hey, we can already see that third pillar working. Look at this. Inventories are down 2%. And that's not just spring cleaning, It's a strategic move. You clear the shelves to make way for new, innovative gear and, crucially, to protect your profit margins.
Okay, now for another twist in the story. For years, all we heard about was Nike's big push into selling directly to us, the consumers. But a massive piece of this comeback puzzle, it actually came from them going back and re-energizing their relationships with their wholesale retail partners.
And the difference here is just wow. The estimate for their wholesale business was a 2% decline. What actually happened? A 7% increase. That's not just a beat, that is a massive outperformance. It just goes to show you, fixing those relationships with retailers is paying off. Big time.
So if we break it down, you can see where the growth came from. It's those renewed partnerships plus a small 1% bump in their own store sales. Now, you might see that digital sales look a little weak, and that might seem weird, right? But it's actually part of the plan. That's where they're getting rid of all that old inventory we just talked about.
But look, this race is far from over. One great quarter is awesome, but it doesn't just erase all the very real hurdles that are still on the track for Nike. So we've got to talk about the challenges that are still ahead.
And hurdle number one, the biggest one, is China. Despite all this good news we've been talking about, sales in that super important market are still down a staggering 10%. That is a huge anchor dragging on their overall performance.
Now here's the thing. That 10% drop, it was actually better than what a lot of analysts were afraid of. But let's not get it twisted. A 10% drop is still a major, major problem, and there is a ton of work to be done to turn that ship around.
And the other huge storm cloud looming on the horizon? Tariffs. The company has gone on record saying this could be a $1 billion problem for them. Think about that. $1 billion. That's a number that can just chew up your profits in a hurry.
And what's worse is that this isn't a problem that's just sitting still. That $1 billion number, that was based on the old tariff rates. Since they said that, the rates have gone up. So the pressure on their bottom line is literally getting heavier as we speak.
So this all brings us to the final play of the game, right? This can't just be about one surprise victory. It's about building a real winning streak. The true test for Nike is if they can keep this momentum going.
Look, the playbook is there. We've seen it. And it worked for one quarter. But the absolute key to making this a real turnaround story is consistent execution. They've got to deliver, not just once, but quarter after quarter after quarter. That's how you prove this thing is the real deal.
Which leaves us with the big final question, doesn't it? Right now, Nike is taking a victory lap, and they've earned it. But this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And in a long race against those rising tariffs and the ongoing struggles in China, can they actually maintain their lead? I mean, that's the billion-dollar question, and the answer is going to define their entire future.